Hey guys, Irish Lily here, and today we're back with Seduce Me the Otome. I've actually fallen in love with this series, I'm not gonna lie. So let's go back to where we left off. I don't know why the last episode was glitchy, but I'm gonna try. Can you stop being live, please? Thank you. I don't know if we read this part, so I'm gonna just say it anyways. We're very sure that Miss Anderson is also still getting used to having us as her servants. It would be very hard to explain after just a day.
I guess.
So, if I may ask, what brings you two ladies here?
Well, we wanted to see how our friend was doing. Since it's the weekend and all, usually we hang out and just chill. Yeah, like going to the arcade and stuff. Or the Pink Lady Cafe.
There's an arcade? That makes a lot of sense, ladies. Well, we don't wish to disturb you any further than we have, so we'll take our leave and start preparing the house.
Huh?
We've got to prep the house for some sort of housewarming party thing.
Our princess's parents requested a housewarming party to be held here soon.
And by soon, they mean tonight.
Oh, well, I guess we can help out or something. Right, Naomi? I thought you wanted to go to the arcade. This housewarming thing is more important.
No need. We can handle it. If you'd like to, miss, you can go out with your friends while we handle things here.
Seriously? Sam, not now.
Well, I wanted to help out, but at the same time I wanted to go out with my friends. James gave me an understanding look, letting me know that if I left, everything would be okay. I had to make a decision. I would feel bad for leaving them alone. Yeah, I'm gonna help.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Besides, it is my housewarming party. I should help out too.
Want us to help out as well?
I think we got it all taken care of. Thanks though, girls.
Alright, we'll head on out then so we're not in the way.
Sorry guys, I'll hang out with you guys soon.
It's all good, Anderson. We'll definitely come to the housewarming party tonight.
Thank you. I led them back to the lobby and walked them out the doors, opening it for them with a thankful smile. They both gave me hugs before walking out to Naomi's car, which was parked in the driveway. And with that, they left. I was happy that they wanted to help, but I had to do this on my own. It was not their work, so I didn't want to force it on them, just because they were my best friends. We had the entire day to work. The party was tonight, and we had to do all we could to make everything right. We sat down and talked about what we needed to happen before the party. That night, each guy had been assigned a different part of the party to do, and right after lunch, we began to work. Since everything was taken care of by at least one incubus, James told me I could assist one of them. The question was, who? Here, James Garden. Okay, who do I choose? By the way, after the end of the entire series, I might go back to some of these parts and then click different little options. You know, I'll just like save parts of it here and whatnot, and just like load and save whatnot. So yeah, James was really nice. I kind of want to help James. I'm gonna help James, just because. James and I headed out to the garden. It had been years since I had been in the small field. The gazebo was smaller than I remember, but I had grown since I had last seen it. James rolled up his sleeves and took in a deep breath of air before sighing contentedly.
So, we need to cater to the plants and make sure there are no muddy spots in the grass. It may take a while. Are you sure you wish to help me and not the others?
I shook my head, rolling up my sleeves as well. I can handle it. I'd rather work outside anyway. James nodded with a smile before handing me a watering can. Gesturing to a group of flowers by the side of the yard, I walked over and began to water the flowers. However, as silence took control of the air, I felt the need to start a conversation. Should I ask him? I'm gonna ask him a question. So, do you like flowers? I wanted to smack myself. That was a terrible conversation starter. I mentally smacked myself before hearing James chuckle softly. I turned to look at him as he nodded.
They have a wonderful aesthetic. Many people would think that flowers are simple and rather boring, but I've learned secrets about flowers.
Well, to be fair, flowers do technically keep us alive, so... Secrets about flowers? What, like a special way to water them or something?
You could say that. There are right and wrong ways to water flowers.
Can you show me? James gave me a small smirk before walking over and standing behind me. I instantly blushed as he brought his arms underneath mine, guiding my watering can. The water gently poured over the dirt, sinking into it and dissolving into the roots. However, my concentration on the water was broken by the sound of James's voice in my ear.
Flowers need to be cared for gently, like a fragile light. Too much power and they'll break, but too little and they'll wither and fade away. It's like caring for a pet or a loved one.
A loved one? For some reason, those three words echoed in my head. James continued to guide my watering can, using gentle hands to lead my arms and my body, and it was almost like a dance. Eventually, he let go and stepped away from me. I turned to him as he simply smiled at me before returning to his work. I felt my face with my hand, feeling the extreme warmth before shaking my head and continuing to water the remaining plants. The hour of the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party, knowing my dad. He invited his business partners and the executives of the Anderson Company to show me off. I stood in front of my mirror in my room, staring at my form as a million thoughts ran through my mind. It was just a housewarming party, but at the same time, it wasn't. It was my chance to show my dad that I was better than his expectations. It was a chance for me to see my parents as a woman. It was my test to see if I was really ready to live on my own. Well, not truly alone. I had the incubi to think, but even so, I didn't have my dad guiding me or my mom helping me through living alone. A knock on my door broke my thoughts, surprising me. Who is it?
Hey, are you okay in there? Your parents should be here soon, so you should hurry getting ready.
Well, I'm ready, but...
But what? I'm sure you look fine, Anderson. Just come on out.
Alright. As soon as I opened the door to the hall, I watched as Naomi's and Suzu's faces turned from smiles to complete awe-struck stares. What?
Dude, you look hot. Yeah, you look amazing. Where did you get that dress?
I've had it for a while. I just never had the chance to wear it. I figured I might as well bring it out now. I stepped out of my room and closed my bedroom door. Behind me as I walked down the hall to the grand lobby, the incubi stood waiting for me at the bottom, all dressed to the nines as proper servants.
Whoa, they really know how to dress well, don't they?
Well, yeah. I was so slightly taken aback on how great the boys looked in uniform. Each had the poise of a perfect gentleman, even Sam. I slowly began to climb down the steps with Suzu and Naomi behind me. The boys watched as I descended the staircase one step at a time, like knights waiting for their princess. I felt my face slightly flush, but I quickly shook my head and tried to regain my thoughts. As I reached the last step, James offered his hand out to me and walked me down the final steps, smiling.
As beautiful as a princess, miss.
Thank you.
So, are you prepared for tonight?
No. I couldn't deny that I was nervous, but I had to try. This party was more than what it seemed, and I had done all that I could to prepare for it. Now it was all up to fate. The other boys smiled assuringly at me, which made me feel a little better about everything. I looked at my phone and marked the time. Almost right on cue, the doorbell rang. I gulped. I could practically feel my dad's aura from behind the door. Me, I would be like, someone help me. Sam and Eric quickly rushed to the door and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey Mom, hey Dad.
Oh my, I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I was completely shocked my parents didn't question the boys. They didn't ask for verification or anything. I looked to the boys and noticed Sam and Eric staring intently at my parents. Were they using their colors on them? They had to be. There was no way they'd be okay with this otherwise.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
My mother quickly rushed to get to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back, inhaling her perfume. It had only been a couple of days, but living away from the ones who raised me was hard. My mother soon let me go and looked at my outfit.
Gorgeous. You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
I looked to my dad, who was looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground, waiting for him to look at me. When he did, he let a small smile grace his lips.
Your mother's right. You look like you're all grown up.
I don't like him. I really don't. The world around me stopped as my heart pounded hard in my chest. Did my dad just compliment me on his own accord? My mother was grinning ear to ear at his words. I was beyond speechless. Thank you, Daddy. However, his cold face quickly returned as he began to look around once again.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
My potential?
To become CEO of the company.
I knew it. Something was off about tonight, and now this party had become much more than I anticipated. I gulped silently, but I nodded in response. I looked to the and goodbye, but they were continuing to be the servants for my father's approval. I hate this guy. Why? I don't like this guy. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Suzu raise their thumbs at me for encouragement. I let out a small breath before feeling my body accept their situation. I felt a weight in my gut, but I had to hide it. As if time zoomed forward, all of a sudden the main hall of the lobby was full of guests. Men and women in formal or business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many to come, but I was once again surprised that night. I shook my hands with my officials and executive members, putting on the professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid it well behind a small smile and handshake. Many even asked me questions. I tried my best to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember, say what they want to hear and know what you want to say.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
It's a go.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Thank you for your condolences.
Do you have college plans?
Okay. I didn't know most of these were timed. I felt like the questions came up one after another. It was tough to answer some of them because they weren't about me. They were about the company.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
It's hard to say. I'm not an executive or anything.
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
Oh my god. How many questions are they gonna ask me? It's a possibility. Eventually the question stopped. Okay, thank God. And I was back to being by myself. No, Naomi and Suzu were mingling in the crowds, and the Incubi were doing their job, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. It was unnerving to think about, but at least I wasn't being questioned left and right anymore. Suddenly, though, my mom pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing along someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This kind gentleman is the son of the vice chairman.
With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple of years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand silently, asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
I don't want to be rude. Okay. As I placed my hand in his, he raised it to his lips and kissed over my knuckles. I felt my face burn slightly at the gesture. Andrew smiled at me before releasing my hand.
I'm honored to be invited here.
My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew? Is it an automatic engagement merge thing? Why? I can already tell this is gonna go bad.
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Praise is very much deserved.
Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Because Mom wants me to marry him. Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Oh wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked to Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something, whether it was good or bad. I was not able to find out. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Uh-oh. How did I know this was gonna happen? Andrew's body twitched slightly, whether it was fear or insult. Andrew locked eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company. Well,
I stared at Andrew. The guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO? I thought the vice chairman wanted the position. What? I'm confused now. Wait, is he the vice chairman? I'm confused.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that. Of course not, sir. And polite as well. Interesting. If you'll excuse me.
You make every conversation uncomfortable to people. I'll just, I quickly followed Andrew, wanting to be sure he was alright. I felt a little embarrassed that my dad put him on the spot like that. I had to apologize. We wound up outside. The stars practically danced on the grass as we stood in the backyard of the mansion. It had been my first time in years being out there, but my thoughts weren't on the Gaia. That's the closest. Hey, Andrew. Andrew turned to me in surprise. However, his face was completely red in both embarrassment and humiliation. I felt terrible.
Oh, I didn't see you or hear you following. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I should be the one to apologize.
What for? You didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, for the way my dad behaved. He shouldn't have been so...
Oh, no, it's fine. I mean, I should have expected it and been more prepared.
Andrew rubbed the back of his neck and gave a goofy grin. It was intriguing seeing Andrew's professional side and then seeing a goofy smile away from everyone. I'm sorry for that.
It's not a problem, really, but thank you.
We both smiled at each other before I reached my hand out to him. He tilted his head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Kaylee. My name is Kaylee. Okay, he's polite, he's goofy, I like him already. And understanding his smile returned before he took my hand gently and shook it.
That's a pretty name. I'm happy to know it now.
Nah, it's not that nice.
I have to disagree with you. It's much better than Andrew. I mean, who names their kid Andrew?
Royal people? A lot of people do.
But how about Axel or Ace? Something cool like that.
To be fair, I wanted to be named Kai, but no. I couldn't help but laugh at him. He was pretty chill for a guy who was supposed to be a vice chairman's son. He grinned and laughed along with me. I don't know why, but I felt warm, whether it was the almost non-existent breeze or the situation we found ourselves in. It felt nice. He's an incubi, I can tell. He's an incubi.
Lewis.
And just like that, let me punch him, please. I want to punch him. The feeling had vanished. We both turned to see my dad at the doors of the mansion, staring at Andrew with almost a deadly glare. Andrew straightened up, trying to maintain a business posture.
Yes, sir? Your limo is in the front. The driver has requested that you return home. Now. Oh, all right. Thank you, sir.
Wow, he's so mean. Andrew quickly nodded to me before speeding back into the mansion to leave. As I took a step to follow, my dad stepped in front of me. Dad?
I don't want to hear it. Do not become friendly with him. He wants to take the company away from us. You have no reason to be friends with him.
That doesn't mean you can just be rude. Because I heard in the newspaper that if you're rude to certain people that's trying to take over your business, they can automatically take over your business. They can. I heard. Before I could retort, my dad turned away and he walked back inside, muttering about how the party was nearing an end. I sighed and entered in the house as well, wanting for the party to end immediately. Eventually, only Suzu, Naomi, and my parents and the Ikibai were left. My dad slowly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him, a wave of confusion washing over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Thank you, Dad?
Keep it up and you'll be a good CEO.
She doesn't even want to be a CEO. Why are you forcing her to do something she doesn't want to do? Oh, right.
All right. Your mother and I have to leave.
sure Naomi and Suzu need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Yeah, and thanks for the unexpected party you wanted me to throw. Oh, right.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party. We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Right, see ya.
Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Only when Dad's away because he's a frickin' jerk. Is my thing freezing out? Will do. Will do. All 4 of my remaining guests left the building, all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, exhausted. Phew, that was tiring. That's me.
It's not like you had to do any work, though. Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
As expected, Princess.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Hush, Sam.
Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
Knew it. I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice from my dreams echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked alongside the incubi. James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
I don't know why that voice sounds so familiar, though. All of us shot our heads towards the door, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. Doors quickly swung open, revealing a sight I would have never expected to see. Skin red as blood, eyes black and cold, piercing into my roughened up clothes, and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster. I covered my mouth to not scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck. And as he smirked at me and the boys around me beside the red-skinned man was a similar-looking woman in matching bug-like clothes.
Aw, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. We all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see a bullet run through Sam's face, but...
What the fuck?
What?
What should have been a headshot ended with a loud but empty blank shot. The pistol echoed its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Why the fuck won't you work?
This place is protected.
What did you say, Shrimp?
This place has a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Okay, the man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge it in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall and finally stopped. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into black flame that disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malix.
Malix? That was his name? His existence resonated in my memory from the dream I had. However, I looked to Matthew in the same confusion as Malix did. This place is protected by magic? What?
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Okay, about a couple more minutes. Max's face grew to that of extreme anger, his fists tightening as if he was crushing a stress ball.
And what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malik and the boys. With no power, Malik wasn't going to fight. I took that chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I was in the dream. I want to say this one, but I'm gonna say this one even though I'm not. Max suddenly laughed and wildly staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? Roofer's harem or something?
Max grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. I'm gonna duck.
A quick one. I'm liking you more and more.
Back off, Malix!
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her.
Oh!
Shut up!
Oh, did I make little Matthew cry? Why don't you just grow a pair?
Enough, Malix.
The one who had been standing in silence the whole time planted a firm hand on Malix's shoulder. Malix looked back at her with a growl and glare that could kill.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know you've never controlled me. I want them dead just like you do. But now's not the time.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Do you? Even if you did fight them, there's 5 against 2. We never win.
Shut up!
Let's go, Malix! We're wasting our time!
The two growled at each other. If they could have used their magic, I could sense fire would glow from under their teeth. Malix grunted and glared at the boys. He pointed at James, wanting to so badly to use his finger like a knife.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good.
Whatever, psycho, get out of my house. I don't need you in my house. Then Malix turned to me, moving his fingers to point directly between my eyes.
And don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
Whatever, psycho. With that, Malix and the woman walked out of the mansion. The doors closed behind them, leaving the boys and I alone once again. I felt my knees give out from under me, forcing the boys to quickly turn to catch me.
Whoa! Are you alright?
Yeah, why was he here?
He's been closely tracking us. Our blood trail from the forest must have led him here.
Thanks, guys. And well, I'm gonna end off the thing here, so yeah, have a great day, guys. And remember, if you like my channel, subscribe, and if you like the video, like it and whatnot. And if you want to see more, leave a comment saying you like the series, blah blah blah. Right now I need to take all this in before I die. Okay, bye guys.